What we're going to talk about is help your child face fears head on. Encourage your child to fight fears by conquering feelings of helplessness through acceptance, willingness, and building the courage to face them. There will always be difficult situations that confront your child. Children tend to have their own set of fears, things which can create a lot of doubt, anxiety, apprehension within them. And that is something which is very natural and normal for all children to have. What is most important is to not try and tell your child that having fears is not okay. Because as you are aware, whether it's a child, adolescent, or adult, every individual is likely to have fear as an emotion which is inbuilt into them. Having those fears a lot of times has its own adaptive and evolutionary value. It allows us to be able to assess the threat in the environment, and it ensures that we do not end up putting ourselves into extremely unnecessary risky situations as well. So having that mechanism in place has its own value and benefit, and it is something which should be respected. But yes, sometimes for children, the fears can become very irrational. It could be about something which is very small and simple, or something which could be actually rather difficult, like moving into a dark space. Helping your child understand what it is that is going on is very crucial, but it starts by first helping them know that you do understand that they are feeling fearful. If you do not convey to them your understanding, for your child it can become an experience where they feel that this is only something that happens to me. It could make them feel bad and worse about their own selves. And that is something which would impact their confidence negatively and also their view of their own self. And that is something that you don't want in such a situation. What you want is for your child to understand that you do know that this is a feeling that can come up for them. Yet, while this is a feeling which is coming up for them, it is something that can and does need to be tackled. Giving your child that comfort, communicating to them that you are able to grasp what is happening is very, very important to ensure that you can then help them also develop an understanding of what is it that may be creating that fear within them. Talking to them, trying to understand their perspective, however irrational it may be, however fantastical it may be, is very essential. In fact, sharing with your child that you too would have had your own anxieties and fears when you were young growing up would be also very helpful, because what you can do is also weave narratives of how you were able to overcome those fears. A lot of times, using children's storybooks can be very helpful as well in this particular regard, because there are so many stories in which you can talk about how people can overcome their fears, their anxieties, their apprehensions in situations. Even though one may feel overwhelmed at a given point in time, it is possible to be able to push through that situation. And sometimes what you need is a little belief, a little motivation, and simultaneously an approach in which you know that there is someone who's supporting you. And who better to support a child in overcoming the fears than you, the parent? So sometimes what becomes very helpful is enabling your child by helping them develop a very systematic, stepwise kind of an approach in trying to overcome whatever it is that they are fearful of. While you have spoken to them about where the fear may be coming from, how it is incapacitating them, how it is natural for them to feel the way that they're feeling, and what is it that they can think of in order to overcome it, you also teach them to be able to breathe through that situation, to remind themselves that these are normal activities that a lot of people tend to do, and that fear is something that can be overcome. You help them break down that entire task of facing that feared situation into smaller steps, because that kind of an hierarchical approach works way better. In fact, when you see that your child is being able to take small steps in moving towards the goal of overcoming that fear, you reward that. You reinforce it by reminding them that they did such a good job. You talk about it and you tell them how proud you feel and how happy you feel that they're taking these active measures from their side. Each time you're doing this, it instills confidence in your child, and it ensures that they are able to trust their own selves even when they're feeling fearful, that they will be able to find a way to move past it. Having a holistic approach towards this is something which is going to be very critical, so that your child can move forward in taking steps towards actively beating the kind of fears that they may have. Yet, of course, like I said, that fears can also be adaptive. They have their own value. There's something which will avert your child to risks. So you also need to help them understand that having that little bit of anxiety could also ensure their safekeeping. So Keep on giving your child a balanced view so that they have a very good understanding of what's going on with them, so that they can be confident and take care of themselves in the long run.